Yo to the yo, what is up? In this video, I'm going to be making a prom dress in less than 1 day. I had a prom dress for this year's prom, but it's not happening, so I'm just going to save that one for next year, but I still wanted to wear something this year for fun, so I'm making one, which will have pretty much no purpose, aside from that I'll have a dance party in it in my room. So let's make a dress. So first we're going to cut apart the dress that I'm using fabric from. I couldn't go to Hobby Lobby because I'm kind of stuck in my house, so right now we're gonna just cut the dress apart so I have some fabric to use. The audio cut out on this clip for some reason, but this is the original dress. I got it for a Cinderella costume when I was like 12, and basically I'm just mining it for fabric for today's dress.
Mining away. I don't know what to mine. I'll mine this anyway.
So now I'm just snipping away at the exterior fabric. This dress has been in the bottom of a drawer for like 7 years, so it's seen better days, but I made it work. And now I'm cutting away this weird little mermaid tail thing inside the dress, which is a weird feature that I think was supposed to fluff the dress up, but it has the mystery tool that will help us later. Get it? Mystery tool. That fabric is tulle. I'm a mermaid! Now I'm cutting the main skirt from the dress because the top part is made of an unusable material. It's this weird, unappealing, almost tent fabric, so I didn't want to use it at all. And I took away the zipper too, and I didn't end up using it. Okay, so we're done cutting up the dress now. And now the move is going to be to make the top half, and then I'll make the skirt with the panels after that. So first we're going to make the top. Okie dokie, so I laid out my big blue egg of fabric on the floor and I sliced it in half. So now I have a deviled egg. I took my deviled egg and marked the size of the chess pieces with duct tape, which is suitable for any occasion. Then I left for a minute, came back, and traced the basic turtle shell shape that I wanted. After smoothing the edges a bit, I opened the turtle to make 2 turtles. Then I realized that 2 turtles was not enough. I would need 4 turtles to get the job done. I marked them out with chalk and carefully cut the fabric to size. Then my army of turtles, my turn, was ready to go. I pinned the pieces together 2 at a time. Now we're bopping over to my sewing machine, where I'm sewing along the edges of each piece and turning them inside out. If you want to stop here, you'll have 2 excellent little hats. But I'm making a dress, so I folded the hats in half and drew a curve on each of them with chalk. I sewed down the curve and voila! My hats were ready to go. I then took a strip of fabric about as long as my rib cage and pinned it together neatly. My ribcage strip was nearly complete and ready to be sewn together. It would create a long tube which could fit at least 3 toothbrushes end to end. I turned it inside out for toothbrush convenience, and then placed the turtle hats on the strip. I momentarily became a mermaid for the 2nd time in this video to get the placement exactly right. With a little bit more fiddling, I was ready to go. I put the mermaid top together by pinning just under the seam. Under the seam, under the seam, darling, it's flouncing, we're seam-a-louncing, under the seam, under the seam. This created a sort of clamshell shape, if we're continuing our under-the-sea analogies. I adjusted a bit more and then sewed a straight line down the top of the toothbrush tube to attach the hats to it. Next, I created a tiny strip of fabric that would act as the side of a lace-up back for the dress. It looked like a tiny tortilla strip when it was done. I was getting hungry. I attached it to the dress in a zigzag manner, careful to leave 2 loops for a lace to snake through. Then I returned to the dress, making a second, thinner tortilla strip to go through the first and tie up the back. I was delighted to see that my lace-up plan was working, and proceeded to play with the tie as if it was a worm on a string for quite some time. Finally, I found a thinness and positioning that I liked, and with that, the top to my top was usable. However, it was still too scandalous for my Christian Minecraft server, so I cut out a piece of that mystery tool from earlier to fill in the gap between the 2 turtle pieces. I folded it into a rectangle and sewed it down to the inside of the top with relative ease. Little did I know that its innocent corners would soon scratch up my skin worse than the pokey bits of my ceiling on my knuckles when I forget I'm in a loft bed in the dark while I sleep, and I reach up to scratch my head and get an unwanted bloody surprise in the night. Alas, I had no idea, and so hummed along to my Disney music and sewed a quick V upon the tool to fix it in place. After that, I set off to make spaghetti straps on the top to show off my scandalous shoulders. Fun fact, when I was little, my friends and I played a game at recess called the Hungry Games, where we were each a type of food and chased each other around. The objective was to bring each other to the boiling water to cook each other. I mention this because I was always spaghetti because of my blonde curly hair that reminded my friends of noodles. Look, the base of my top is done. Let's get back to that secretly evil tool, shall we? I cut off a bigger portion of the tool and measured it around my arms to make some off-the-shoulder straps. I was going to be rocking that Cinderella puffy sleeve by the time the sun went down. I cut my piece of tulle in half and folded each piece around myself hot dog style, then sewed them, interestingly, to the chest pieces and to the back of the top. I wasn't really quite sure where to attach them, so, like the rest of this video, I picked a place and stuck with it. This dress was beginning to become what it had been all along, a Cinderella costume, but I didn't mind. I have dreams that are wishes that my heart makes. And bippity-boppity-boo, the sleeves were securely attached to the top. I gave the camera a little smile and thought back to my days of making weird little stuffed animals, wondering at how far I had come since then. My knees were starting to ache from kneeling on the floor at my low table instead of sitting at my desk like a normal person, and I was getting very hungry, but Cave Town was playing and I was fairly content to sing along for just a little bit longer. After trying on the top, I realized that my armpits needed a little more fabric close to them, so I scrounged up a scrap of scraggly scrapings of fabric and set out to make a couple of triangles. Well, technically I suppose they were quadrilaterals. They reminded me of tangrams, which were like 7 shapes that you used to make shapes like a puzzle in, like 3rd grade gifted class. Tangrams were the bomb. Much like tangrams, I pinned my trapezoidal shapes into their correct places in the top. I proceeded to mildly mess up attaching the first tangram, but if at first you don't succeed, realize 30 minutes later that you messed up and half-heartedly fix your mistake. I then hemmed the second quadrilateral and attached it as well, not as badly as the first. Practice makes perfect, they say, although I feel like practice never made anyone perfect, just marginally better every time, until they get so good at French horn that they're in the Berlin Philharmonic and look around and can't believe it. That's not related to prom though, so let's get back to the point. This is my junior year, so I've never been to prom before, although I went to homecoming freshman year and it was really lame. I'm excited for next year if the apocalypse doesn't come before then. Maybe I'll uncover and take down a sweeping government conspiracy in my senior prom dress. That would probably be more interesting than real prom. Prom. But who knows? Maybe everything I know about prom is a lie, and real prom is actually the most interesting thing in the world. Anyway, now I'm adding yet another piece of villainous tulle to the inside of my dress. There's a lot of alliteration going on in this video. So close to being done with this top and eating fried rice, and the top is finished after about 5 hours of work. I'm gonna eat lunch now and then we'll come back and do the skirt. I'm back, and now we're making the second part of this dress, the skirt. First, I'm taking the old skirt and attaching some new panels to it to make it a bit fluffier. I love big, puffy, princessy dresses, so while this wasn't too crazy on the puff, it was definitely there. My new panels weren't quite long enough, so I ended up chopping off the top of the skirt to make a waistband later on. Speaking of skirts, I feel like I've just really been into skirts recently. They're vibing with me, especially those little flowy skirts with flowers or ruffles or something. And skater skirts. I really want a skater skirt, but I haven't been able to figure out where to buy a good one. Tell me if you find anything. I have a silver one that I used for a play, but it's got a gear design on it and it's made out of a really weird material, so I wouldn't wear it in public. Currently, I'm cutting off the excess fabric to create 2 new dress panels. The plan is to pleat the skirt onto the waist, which will make it look fuller and more princessy, so more my style. Oh, on a very off-topic subject, I make films in my free time, and recently I've been thinking of a concept based on Rumpelstiltskin that I really like. Alright, so I cut and pinned my panels together, and now I'm sewing a seam down the full length of the skirt for each panel. For the waistband, I'm using the strip of fabric that I cut from the top of the skirt earlier, and marking my measurement with chalk. Off camera, I attached the band to the top. Not the marching band, silly goose, the waistband! And I'm pinning and plaiting the skirt along it. Pleating. My gosh. Did I say plates earlier? The plan is to pleat the skirt onto the waist. My pleats are 4 inches wide or a medium-sized plastic flower. Disappointingly, I realized that I made too many on the left side and I did my best to symmetralize as best I could. Symmetralize. We should start using that word. The dress was too big to fit on the table, and so I moved my operation to the floor. At this point, I was exhausted, but like an AP student the night before the AP Chem test, I soldiered on, determined to get at least a 4 and a great reaction on YouTube. I could tell the dress was becoming more stable, getting a full octet of electrons. I was 7 hours into this project and getting impatient. Today on Strange Positions Abby has sewed in, I use my calf to operate the pedal. No, not my baby cow, my right leg! Now I'm a contortionist and using my right foot as best I can. Sometimes I am truly amazed by my abilities. I'm just putting finishing touches onto my dress now. I realized that I did not sew my skirt on in a straight line, so I'm covering up my mistake with a ribbon that I scrounged from the fabric of the mermaid top I showed you so long ago. I'm sure you didn't come to this video expecting mermaids, but here I am and there you are. Looks like we're almost done, folks. After 8 hours of work, this is the completed product. It turned out better than I would have expected, considering I had absolutely no pattern or real plan going into this. I pretty much just drew a little design and then winged it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, I think. It's extremely princessy, especially the little tulle sleeves, which, I don't know, I mean, I wouldn't wear this to a real prom, but since we're having coronavirus inside prom, it's all good. Okay, let's have a dance party and pretend we're at prom. I get up, I get down, and I'm jumping around, and the rumpus and rug is so comfortable now. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to grow. Bang, 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 here we go. So put your best face on, everybody pretend you know this song, everybody come hang. Let's go out with a bang, 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 bang.